So, but I learned a lot of things. I learned how to be creative and how to hustle. Social media is telling you, this is how to make money. This is how to do this. This is how to do that. Sign up with me. I'll help you get customer engagement. Like, it is so loud. Tap into your gift and know what you're good at.
Welcome back to Ignition Point. I'm Debbie Hart.
Sean Finnegan.
And today we are privileged to have Fernanda Bohme with us of the Bohme Clothing line and store. I'm just gonna share her intro because I love powerful women like you. It's so inspiring. She was born and raised in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. She co-founded Bohme, a women's clothing brand, in 2007. Today the brand has multiple locations, 17, right? In 7 states that employs over 300 women. Bohme has been named one of the top women-run businesses on the Inc. 500 fastest growing companies featured on Forbes, as well as awarded the 2019 SBA of the Year for the state of Utah. Fernanda has also been featured keynote speaker across the country, has represented the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Women's Private Sector to support women-owned businesses in the Middle East, and participated in various charity fundraisers, as well as diverse donations across the globe for disadvantaged women. Her husband and 3 children currently reside in Park City, Utah. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
That was a great intro. You did a great job.
Well, she deserves a good intro. There just aren't enough women-owned businesses out there that are being highlighted and spotlighted, so it's such an honor to have you here. We were just talking about your journey, immigrating here with your family at age 8 from Rio de Janeiro, and you have memories of there. What was that like for you coming here to a new country at such a young age, leaving your friends and everything you knew behind?
I mean, the scariest part was not knowing any English. So English is my second language. So navigating a whole new planet, culture, everything, it was overwhelming. And it was overwhelming for my parents because they didn't speak the language either.
Really? They didn't speak when they came here?
We spoke zero English. So now you're forced to, overnight, it's like I was the adult in the home.
What was their inspiration for coming?
Well, we had other friends from Rio that came here, but my dad wanted a degree from America. So he thought, oh,
better life for his family.
A better life, and then we'll go back to Brazil, but we never went back. And I think one of the hardest thing is that the way we came here is that my dad was a full-time student, and so when you don't speak the language, like, how are you going to support a family, right? Sure. And so what we did is we cleaned buildings. Actually, my parents started cleaning buildings actually in Provo, because we were in the BYU student housing, and then we started going with them because these buildings were massive. It's like the old Nature Sunshine building. These were massive buildings that they cleaned every single night. Back in the day, people worked at the office every day, so they wanted the office cleaned every day. Yeah. So there were no days off, and so we started going with my parents. Let me paint a picture. They're working at minimum wage. We're working for free. Back then, it was $5 an hour. Right.
Yeah.
And so here we are, a family of 5. We were living under the poverty line. Like, this is the line. Like, we were down here. And so one thing I learned as a kid, I'm 8 years old at that time. And I knew I had to be the adult in the family, me and my sister, overnight. If you had any problems, because the kids always learn English before the parents, right? Yeah. You had to call the credit card. You had to call for rent. Like, I'm literally the adult.
You're managing the family.
You have to. Right. And it's like, you would think that, I was like, oh, I can never go through that. And then you go through it because it's a sink or swim situation. And that's what we were in. And so, but I learned a lot of things. I learned how to be creative and how to hustle. Because if I wanted anything, if I wanted candy as a child or anything, you better go get a babysitting job, do something.
Yeah. You weren't going to go to your parents and ask for an allowance or something.
You knew how to make your own money. You knew how to make stuff happen. So those skills at a young age probably were what helped you.
It was that entrepreneur spirit, you could say.
Right away. So you started Bohme when you guys were in your early 20s, right?
Yeah, I was 23.
23.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I know my sister approached me with the idea, and I was majoring in fashion at that time. But I'm like, nope, I'm getting out. I'm moving to New York. And by the way, we don't have the cash. We don't have connections because it's not like our dad is playing golf at the country.
Right.
club.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
We have none of the above
Right.
experience. Like, how is this going to happen? So then I got an American Express credit card, and that's what we did. And we opened the first store. Can I tell you the
With
first
the
store
credit
with the credit card? Well, back then, this was 2008, right before the bust. You could still get a credit card.
You could get a credit card easy, just fog a mirror.
Right. So then we were able to pay rent with that, get some inventory, and the first store went bust because people didn't understand how to say Bohme. It looked too pretty. And then like here we are after 3 months, and I thought, I don't want to do this because
But you'd
it's
already
too
put all that
difficult,
money on the credit
and now
card.
we're in debt even more.
Yeah.
Like it was
Now you have
such a
skin in the
disaster.
game. You're
Where
like,
was your first location at?
Fashion place.
Fashion Place here in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then from there, I didn't want to restart. It was just a temp lease. And that's when I literally I prayed to God, like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Because if it's my path, I'll do it. If not, I'm done. I don't want to do it. And I heard a voice to go back and redo it.
that's amazing.
Really?
I did.
Wow.
How much time were you spending in the business at the time?
I still had my full-time job because we couldn't pay
Jeez,
ourselves.
right.
So it was
who's
just
running
like,
this
no,
store?
no, like my sister's doing day shift, I'm doing
Okay.
night shift.
Okay.
And then, by the time we did our rest of the stores, I mean, the rest of the fleet came later, but we were doing construction on all those.
You were painting, putting it.
No, we couldn't hire a contractor.
Yeah.
That was out of question.
Wow.
But you knew how to work from a
Yes.
young age.
Oh, yeah, you read a book.
amazing.
How do you put a saw,
Yeah.
a blade inside a saw?
Yeah.
I had to learn all those skills. Like these ceilings here, how do you do dry fall paint?
Right.
Okay, you have to get the machine and
Yeah.
I knew Home Depot like the back of my
Yeah,
hand
yeah.
because
So
they had a Home Depot.
you
right
literally built the store from the ground up. Literally.
Literally.
There's not a job that I haven't done.
Otherwise, it'd be like,
Love
hey, it's
that.
200,000 for this build
Yeah.
or it's
Yeah.
100,000 for
But
this
if
build
you think
out.
about it, back then, I'm 23, I might as well look like I'm 18.
Right.
Okay? And then, who's gonna just give us money? Okay, you don't have
Yeah.
experience, you look super young.
You don't have a business degree.
It was right, and it was very much a boys' club back then. And now, diversity, things have opened up, but back then, that was not the case. I mean, it was 2007,
Yeah.
and people were so in the box that unless you're eating at the Olive Garden and shopping at American Eagle, there's no room for anybody else.
Right.
So being the newcomer back then was really hard. Today, people accept things. Like, it's a wonderful space for entrepreneurs because they can express different things. They can do a different business, and people will accept.
Yeah.
Back then, it was very much a square peg in a
Yeah.
square hole. And who the heck is this Bohme company coming in here and telling me what to wear? And it's funny because we started coming out with some things that you could wear to church, maybe, or maybe some things that were modest because the only options back then were Dillard's, JCPenney, Mervyn's.
Sure.
Believe it or
yeah.
not, people don't
Yeah.
remember those days.
Yeah.
I
And,
do.
but guess
I
what?
do, I
Like
remember those for
this is
sure.
funny because we had like this Rio de Janeiro DNA in us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
our number one customer were the Playboy bunnies.
Wow.
They loved our stuff.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
your stuff. My
Because-
daughter loves your stuff. It's multi-generational.
It is.
Exactly.
She's 24 and she's like, "Oh, can I come if I get a babysitter?" Because that's her favorite store. And she's 24, but I'm 45 and I love it too.
Wow.
So
How do you bring the soul into it? Because we talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
It's like some of these bigger department stores are just struggling so bad.
Yeah.
How do you have bring all that soul?
So it's that innovation and the creativity, and I see that we're losing creativity. We're losing that because everybody is following this herd, okay, and they're not following their own voice, but they're just following this mass of social media is telling you this is how to make money, this is how to do this is how to do that. Sign up with me, I'll help you get customer engagement. Like, it is so loud that people are forgetting to hear the voice inside of them and creating something. And not just checking the boxes like we were talking about. When's the last time you saw a really good movie?
Yeah.
Right? And even Disney. Like, when's the last time you saw a
Yeah.
really good movie?
Oh.
Because
Yeah.
they're
like
checking,
on a repeat cycle.
they're
now.
checking
Yeah.
the box.
'Cause everything's so predictable when you watch
Mm-hmm.
something now.
Yeah.
They're checking the box.
Right.
In terms
Yeah.
of design, creation, idea. If people just learn how to turn everything off, turn everybody off, and let their creativity come out. And I'm saying this because I'm like a diehard artist, you guys. I'm a right brain, ADD, whatever you want to call it, I have to turn off trends sometimes. It's like, that's great.
You don't want to absorb
you want to
that.
stay true to your artistic nature.
But
and not be
sometimes,
feeding the algorithms or the market trends.
Right.
You want to stay true to your uniqueness.
But let's take that a step above in finding your voice, whether you're artistic or not, or whatever it is. Because there's different types of creativity. There's creativity with numbers, creativity with problem solving, visual creativity, right? It doesn't just come in the arts. It comes in many different forms. And what I see people that they're not finding their own frequency. And I always say, like, I always yell at the rooftop,
so powerful.
Find your frequency because it comes from above, right?
Yeah.
It's something that's already like you're born with it. And then once you realize that you have it and you feed into it, you could call it those brain cells of that chemistry that God has given you, and you tap into that, it's magic. It's powerful, and people need to realize what they have, because I have a lot of people that will come after like a speaking engagement and they'll say, that's great that you started a business. I've always wanted to do it. I'm afraid to do it because of this and that. Okay, what's keeping you from reaching the highest potential for yourself? And I'm not just talking about financially. I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about anything. Whether you're a superpower stay-at-home mom, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Right? It could be in any situation.
Finding fulfillment in anything, right?
In anything that to fill the measure of your creation,
right,
whatever that may be. And I think people forget that they too have a Ferrari engine inside of them. And a lot of times they'll read a business book. I don't know if you've ever done that, and you finish the book and you feel like you're inadequate, that you're not good enough. I'm very hesitant about giving people business books because it only applies to some, and sometimes it doesn't apply.
It's not
every book.
But
a lot of books are like, that's your superpower for your success. That's your formula.
Like, here's the framework.
Success.
You got to stay within that framework in the book, right?
But maybe your Ferrari engine is not their Ferrari engine.
Like you were saying, you couldn't fit into that square peg. So how did you forge through that?
Oh my God.
And then how do you teach people to find their own voice and forge through that, not following somebody else's system if it doesn't work for them?
Follow your gut. Your instincts, I call it, that's your soul telling you something that you need to do something. And sometimes this is very hard. And sometimes what's keeping you from achieving your potential, sometimes it's a job. Sometimes it's a relationship. It can happen. And so it's already there. You don't need to find it. You have it. But what's keeping you from seeing that you are special yourself? Okay, this sounds terrible, but the other month, I won't name it, but I got asked to go to a summit. There's going to be 10,000 people. They're going to teach you how to double your clientele and how to make lots of money online and all this stuff. And would you like a ticket? And I thought about it. I'm like, I have two options. I said, you know what? I can learn a lot of things because I don't claim to know everything. Okay, and things are always changing. But my gut, my mind was telling me, Fernanda, if somebody's already talking about it, it's not original anymore. And now if they're telling the herd of 10,000 people how to go make money and how to do this, this, and that online or whatever that may be, then it's no longer original.
Right.
What happens when you formulate your own ideas, right? I'm not saying that I couldn't learn something. I absolutely could. But there's a couple different people. There's in the Phantom of the Opera, because I love the opera, right? There's the audience, there's the cast member, and then there's the Phantom. Who are you? Are you the consumer? Are you the audience? Are you the cast? You're the employee. Or are you the Phantom?
Leading lady all the way.
You're the leading lady. Yes. But a lot of times, I take myself, I'm the Phantom.
Really?
I'm watching people going, because I know what the audience is doing. I know what the cast is going to do. I know all the
That's the true leading lady.
True, that's
so
true. He's the true star of everything.
Yeah.
You get out and you look at what's going on above and you go, huh, everybody's going the same direction here.
Yeah, right.
It's time to go a different direction. And the amount of people that fall into, oh, do this and you'll make money, do this, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Innovate, create.
It's just having the vision to look different, feel different, and see things that other people can't see.
Authenticity.
Right.
Just like really being you and bringing that into the world.
Yeah.
In a big
Is
way.
it tempting if someone's trying to follow their heart or what's in their gut, and they see everyone else, and maybe they're not getting the results like right out of the gates with their own voice. How tempting is it for them to just want to fall in line and mimic?
It is tempting because sometimes somebody comes out with an amazing business idea or whatever it may be, and then it flops. Is it because the idea was bad? No, because maybe that day a bigger story came out. It's kind of like when a movie comes out and it bombs. Well, it was a really good movie, but Star Wars came out the same week, so you got over Trump.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, it's the universe.
So
It
true.
just happens sometimes.
Sometimes things take off and things don't, and it's not because you didn't have a great idea.
Gotta stay the course.
Not because the timing wasn't right.
Yeah.
Sometimes the universe doesn't line up.
So what's your advice for that? I mean, you went through that. Your
my
first 3
goodness.
flopped, and you wanted to give up. So what was it that made you decide to try again? How did you
It was
get through
faith.
that? Just
Because I know there's a higher power that can see way further than I can. 'Cause my wisdom is only so big, so I tap into the metaphysical. So the metaphysical is you tune into your spirituality to kind of go, where should I be? What should I be doing? And really tap in, and you'll be amazed the information you come up with. And I've made some very big business decisions on just the gut feeling.
inspiration, intuition. That's your business advice.
That's my business
I love
advice.
it. See,
And
that's
women,
why women are good
So
in
good.
business.
women are really good.
Yeah.
They're really
100%
They're
of my
more in
decisions
tune.
they tap in.
Yeah,
They're
sure.
really sensitive to
Yeah.
like following their gut and their intuition. And I think that's very important because sometimes not all the data is in front of you. There's a lot of moving pieces in the world. There's no way that data can present you with everything that's going to happen
Yeah.
or that you should be doing. Like
Yeah.
this is very difficult world to maneuver.
Yeah, you got to make a decision. You can only take in so much
can only
information before you make the right call. Your call.
Yeah.
Right.
And not to say that I haven't had, outside of that, first, should I do it, should I not do the business? I've had some ups and downs in the business, absolutely, throughout. I mean, it's retail. I've been doing this for 17 years.
Yeah.
You know there's been some ups and downs, some
Yeah,
big
you had
roller coasters.
stores shut down during COVID.
Yeah.
How did you get through that?
We had to furlough everybody, and I got a
Yes.
skeleton crew running in
Right.
the warehouse.
I'm sure.
Okay.
Just filling orders.
Yeah.
And then I started calling every country, cancel every single order.
Jeez.
And I thought, well, we're screwed because X, Y, and Z only has a season to sell. If you miss the season, you can't liquidate, like you're done. And so I called down to the warehouse. I said, hey, I noticed that there's 0 in this particular inventory. You guys need to upload it, because if you upload it, we can sell the product. They're like, Fernanda, we did, it's gone. What do you mean it's gone? Like, I'm not kidding, it's gone. 700 units of the same item? Yeah, it's gone. Everything got sold online, and it was a miracle. Like, I don't say that I did that. I'm saying it was a miracle that everything sold, and people were sneaking into their California warehouse just to ship us, because they weren't allowed to go to their warehouse. They weren't allowed to go to work.
God.
They were shipping us product. I'm like, no. My website is eating everything for lunch.
Wow. Which was unexpected, because here's this big pandemic. You can't even see someone in person, and all your stores are in person, obviously.
I'm telling you, everything we ran out of inventory at one point.
Jeez.
It was a miracle, because not every boutique in Utah experienced the same
No,
thing.
some of them shut down. Quite a
What do you think the difference was?
When everybody was canceling orders, we were still taking them because we didn't want to screw the vendor over.
Yeah.
We're like, you know what? We placed an order. You guys cut it. You paid
Yeah.
your factory workers.
Yeah.
You got to pay them. They got a family to feed.
Yeah.
We'll take the product. And as we took the product, it kept selling. So it was like, no, we're going to complete our
We'll do this
word
anyway.
because,
So you went forward in faith instead of fear, really.
yes, you can see that. But there's other bigger challenges than COVID.
Let's hear one of them.
I'm telling
let's
you,
hear another
Hear
one.
one of them and how you
Throw
got
another
through
one
it.
out.
Oh
there.
my gosh, I'm telling you, I don't know if everybody else in the business world experiences this and they just don't like to talk about it, but I remember it was before COVID, 2016, we brought in a lot of branded items, and everybody knows, every retailer knows, you bring in branded items, you don't get as big of margins. So the margins were less, but like, oh no, we're gonna sell more branded items. And they were just way too tight. And there was a shift in trends. Every time there's a shift in trend, it's like my industry feels it big time, right? Different silhouettes change, and the mom doesn't want to wear it, the daughter doesn't want to wear it. It's like everybody's confused, customers confused. So everything was happening at once, and I remember it was like the week from hell, where my personal money, I bought land I was going to build a house on, but the land ended up being the most unbuildable land in all the state of Utah.
Jeez.
Oh,
Unbuildable.
no.
And I spent all my money in engineering fees to make it work.
Multiple loads of dirt, all that kind of stuff. Just
Geo
yeah.
testing, like everything you could think about. So I lose all my money, personal money. That same week, on paper, we were out of business, but stores were still operating. Like the same week happened. And then to make matters worse, my 3-year-old daughter gets diagnosed with severe autism. And for the cherry on top, I was giving birth that week
Wow.
to my second child.
Right.
And so I thought, week from hell, like all the stars aligned for your, like you failed, like you're done, like I'm done, right? And so I remember I was walking downtown, I was downtown Salt Lake, and I hear this voice, or I got this like premonition, this inspiration. Not only are you not going to close your stores, because we had closed 4 or 5. I used to have 25 stores. We had closed a few. It's like, not only are you not going to go out of business, but you're going to have a store in that center.
Jeez.
It was City Creek.
Wow.
Wow.
Probably the highest price in the state per square foot.
Yeah, they're in Passion Place. They
Right.
kind of rival each other. But 4 years later, that store, or is it 3? About 3 to 4, that store opened.
Jeez.
And it was $1 million build out. It was beautiful, like everything about it was just like the best of the best.
Maybe by then, were you
Build out.
hiring people, or were you still in there?
Oh no, we were
Hammering.
Still, oh no, we had a contractor.
Yeah, that was the first few stores.
Right.
She
No,
learned
no,
pretty
that
quick.
one was like a legit.
Yeah.
We hired the
Yes.
best firm to do it.
Right.
Like everything was amazing. But
Jeez.
and then I remember, because I couldn't build on that lot, and I remember I took a napkin, or was it like no, it was the back of an envelope. You know how back in the day, that's how we used to take notes before the phone. And I remember I sketched out a house. I'm like, I was crying, like if this was a dream house, because I love sensory experiences and environment, not from a materialistic point of view, but from a creation point of view. Okay, and so I'm drawing out that house. I said this would be the house. In my mind, I do a 3D rendering, you know. And I thought, well, that's never gonna happen, because I just lost everything. I just lost that lot. I just lost all my money. I messed so well, right? 5 years later, I built that house. And it actually came out, I wish I had it with me, it came out on the cover of the Park City Design Build. And it was the exact house I walked through in my mind, like everything to
It's on the
spec.
envelope.
Really?
That's
Exact on the
napkin,
envelope.
or-
Yeah.
Exact thing. And I thought to myself,
You did
I can't believe I went from that to here.
Wow.
And I don't say this to brag, or because I don't say it that way, but I thought, wow, just what a little bit of faith
Yeah.
can get you through.
Yeah.
And some
Held-
really hard
held the
times.
vision,
Whew.
turned it into reality.
Yeah, you stomach a lot. And you know, as a business owner,
Yeah.
like, you develop it. If you don't have a come to Jesus moment,
Yeah.
you will have it.
Yeah.
At
You
some
have,
point.
you have
Multiple
similar
times.
weeks from hell. Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Right?
You will have it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you still have the envelope? It should be
Have it
framed.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It should
That
be
is
framed.
like,
Yeah,
because you
absolutely.
truly
Over the
manifested
fireplace.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, you walked through every room. I mean, you
I've walked through
first
every
in your mind built that house.
In my mind, I
Yeah.
even thought, if I open the window, this is how the breeze is going to come through, and this is the song I'm going to listen to when the
Really?
breeze is coming through, like down to
Wow.
the penny. And I'm like, if it never happens, it never happens. But if the opportunity walks by, I will notice it. And that's what vision board is all about. It's about someday that opportunity is going to come along, and if your mind is like ready to catch it, you will, or else it'll just fly right by. But it's being aware of your opportunities.
Oh yeah, and being willing to push through the challenges that come. on your journey there.
100%, 100%. And I'm not saying, hey, don't give up, keep pushing, because sometimes it's time to change and do something else, and that's okay too.
But you've got to tune in to know.
Got to tune in. Some people are more resilient than others, and everybody has a different gift to do different things. And that's why I'm like, tap into your gift and know what you're good at, whatever that may be.
Yeah, I think a remarkable part of your story is that during those down times you still had faith. Because sometimes that's when you're going through those hard things, is like, I'm going to give up on faith. And it's like, almost God has forsaken me to a degree. It's like, no, I'm actually going to have faith, is what you did.
Yeah.
Despite all the stuff that's going around you.
Yeah, and exactly. And now that I think about it, if I would have built in that first buildable lot, let's just say I would have built on it, it wouldn't have been what I was able to do to build after. Like the little house that I put on it, that I would have put on that other lot, is not to the scale that I did after. And I thought, I'm so glad I didn't build on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I dodged that bullet.
Yeah.
Because another opportunity came around that I didn't know existed. And sometimes it's like something's just right around the corner.
Jeez.
And I think, you know, that's a way of getting tested and challenged, and you stretch. Like I've stretched a lot.
Yeah.
I've been stretched many times and still continue to do so.
So powerful.
But it's like, wow, I see life in a completely different way. And I don't see failures of, oh, you failed. Oh no, I found myself.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand. Now I understand past, present, and future, and everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. But that's the other thing. What the heck does success mean, right? Success is, well, you made $1 extra than somebody else. Therefore, you're successful. So if you get 1 like on Instagram and somebody else gets 100, they're successful. But that's success graded on a curve. So that's why I'm like, what is success to you? What is the measure of your creation? Whatever that might be. Whether it's financial or not, or you know, expanding your mental capacity, right? And that is what success is what you are meant to do.
Amen to that.
So good.
All right, before we finish, any last things you'd like to add? Maybe like some advice you'd give for entrepreneurs watching this show that are like, hey, I'm venturing out, I'm going to do this thing.
Okay.
What's your...
I have this
all right.
advice.
All right.
The number one thing I get is, oh, I don't know if I should do this.
Yeah.
I have a business idea, but I've never actually quantified it, right? Taking the spiritual to actually quantifying your idea into the physical. Guess what? Even big retailers and people that have been in business for a very long time are afraid to death of you. They're afraid of you. So don't think that because you're David and Goliath is so much bigger than you, guess what? Goliath is afraid of you because you're the next big thing that's going to come out.
So powerful. I'm
That's
so
really
glad you
good.
end with that advice. It's so brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much.
I loved all this. It was so powerful.
Yeah, it was
It was
really
amazing.
Thank you guys
good.
for having me.
Where can everybody find you, follow you?
Oh, Fernanda Bohme on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn, same name.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
It's an absolute honor.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
If any of you watching today have any doubts that your current CPA is not helping you take 100% advantage of the deductions you deserve and helping you stay compliant with the IRS, then don't hesitate to get involved with TaxHive today. You won't be disappointed.